Bror Fredrik coming at you with another video. Today we're gonna talk about the pending implosion over at the former Tropicana. I guess you could still call it the Tropicana. There's a shell going up there. And the question that I really want to get into, you've probably heard all the details when it's going to be. We'll cover that a little bit. But what I wanted to talk about today is the actual viewing experience. What you can expect, where you can view it. I have some inside information going on, but I'm going to give you my impressions of that towards the end of the video, and I'm going to discuss how, when, and where you can possibly view and why you possibly cannot view the upcoming Tropicana implosion. And we're going to get into that right after this. Okay, we're back. So, while we have this discussion, I'm gonna play some 4K footage from back when the Tropicana reopened after the shutdown, just so you can get one last look at the Tropicana before it goes boom. And if you haven't heard yet, it is gonna go boom at approximately 2:30 in the morning. That is a tentative time on October 9th, 2024. Now, the night before, they haven't set a specific time, but I've heard 10 p.m., 11 p.m., all the way up to midnight. They're also going to do a Gucci fireworks show and some kind of spectacular drone show that is co-sponsored with Bally's Corp, who owns a property, and believe it or not, the Oakland A's. I don't want to discuss the Oakland A's. My personal feeling is that is an S show. You know what I'm saying? And whether they actually come or not, that remains to be seen. It's all up in the air. They can't get financing, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to talk about where you can possibly see said implosion of the Tropicana. I've heard this question a lot. I do peruse the Facebook groups. I've received personal questions myself. Hey, where can we see it? We want to see it. It's going to be freaking awesome. Okay, I've seen a couple of implosions myself here in Las Vegas and on the Las Vegas Strip. And yes, they are pretty freaking awesome. Boom, 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 yada, yada, yay. I even have a video of the El Rancho going boom. So, yeah, and I gotta be careful what I say here too, because YT isn't gonna like these things because they just cannot, it's AI, so they cannot figure out context, you know, they don't know what I'm talking about per se. So I fielded these questions and I went on a little mission to find out what is what. Where can you actually see this implosion? Now, people are saying, can I just walk up there? Can I just stand across the street? Can I just do this? Can I just do that? I want to see it. People are literally coming to town to watch this implosion. I mean, it's a spectacular event. Don't get me wrong. It hasn't happened in close to 10 years. And it's exciting, no ifs, ands, or buts. Some people mourn the Tropicana. Personally, I could care less. We'll get into that later. It's gonna be gone. Now, you'll see in some of the pictures that I'll put up and some of the pictures I've taken myself, it is gutted. It is down to the steel studs at this point. So it's not the whole experience of having some of the other implosions that we've seen in town. And I think specifically regarding this one was because of the amount of asbestos that was found in there. You go boom with asbestos, it goes everywhere, it clings everywhere, it's in your car, it's on you, it's in your lungs. Nobody wants that. That's another reason, you know, you might want to think twice about this, but we'll get into that in a minute. So where can you see it? Well, right off the bat, I will tell you that the properties surrounding the Tropicana boom site are definitely going for a premium. The oil The Oyo of all places, next door, directly next door. Who, the Oyo, it is what it is. Used to be Hooters, now it's the Oyo. Used to be San Remo. You know what I'm talking about. Not the most glamorous property. It's very, very, very low budget. That's a very kind way to put it. They have dollar blackjack and, whatever. It's a very, very budget property. Guess what their rooms are going for that night? Over $500 if they're facing the strip, if they're facing the implosion. $550 to $560 some odd dollars per night at the Oyo. They've probably never made this kind of money. I don't know if people bought them or not. I don't have an insight on that. I have a slight insight on the watching activities, but we'll get into that. Now, MGM Resorts also has 3 properties that directly face it. That's MGM Grand, New York, and the Excalibur on the intersection of Trop and the Strip. My goodness, they're claiming, MGM is claiming that their rooms that are facing the implosion site are currently sold out. Sold out. And guess what? The cheapest room at the MGM Grand that is facing the implosion was $1,550. Now, I'm not knocking it. If they want to do it, if people want to pay, let them pay. That's fine. I'm not counting anyone's dollars. Go for it, and you're going to have front row seats, and you're going to do it with relative safety. Sans a piece of the Tropicana during the explosion, winging across the street, going through the window, and taking your head off, you're relatively safe, and you're safe from all the asbestos cloud that's going to be in the air. And it's going to be an asbestos cloud. I'm no freaking expert, but if there was asbestos in the building, did they get all of it? I don't know. I don't want to, hey, lawyers, I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just speculating. But anyway, $1,550. Even the rooms that are half a mile to a mile away, say like the Bellagio, the Vidara, the Aria, other properties, now they are about a mile away, but you can still see them. Those are going for about $700 a night. $700 a night to be a mile away. Again, that's even safer. Don't get me wrong, that's freaking awesome. So, what do? You bring binoculars? Great. That's fine. At least you get to see it. And I don't know if it's going to be televised on TV or whatever the case may be. I will do my best to bring that to you. And again, we'll talk about that later. So now you know the details. You either got your room or you don't. So, where can you actually see the implosion? Well, I spoke to a few people. Some people in, I'm not really going to say who these people are or where I spoke to them, but I did speak to people. And the inside skinny so far is that they're going to have that entire intersection cordoned off. Now, security at the MGM properties around it and the Oyo is also, from what I understand, this is allegedly, also going to prevent people from going too close to the implosion. You're not going to stand on the corner of Tropicana, across the street and just look there and clap. Yay, boom. It's not maybe, let me say this, for the fireworks show and for the drone show. That is a possibility from what I understand. Now, the actual implosion, it is an implosion. It's going to go boom. It's going to be very loud. Things are going to be flying through the air. They do not want people standing in what will be considered the blast radius of this thing. I mean, do you want to stand in the blast radius? I mean, I kind of want to stand in the blast radius. I got pretty good reflexes. I'll duck that piece of frickin' steel beam or whatever, but I don't think you'll be able to duck the dust. And if that dust just happens to contain any asbestos, you do not want to be breathing it. So, what options does that leave you? Maybe you can walk closer up there and go watch the drone and the fireworks show. That sounds good. But unless you're staying in the surrounding properties, you have to hoof down there. And might be a walk, and trust me, it is gonna be a freaking mob scene. So if they say that it's gonna be 11 o'clock drone and fireworks show, you better be prepared to leave at like 8. You better be prepared to be there at 6 if you want a front row seat. We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of people. It's not going to be as much of a spectator sport as you think. Now, I could be wrong. I will be there. You might even see this live. So, yeah, stay tuned for that information. That I don't have solidified quite yet, but I got something in the works. Let me just trust me. I got something in the works. But anyway, for the actual implosion, I don't know how close they are going to allow people. It's gonna be boom, boom, boom. There's gonna be fire trucks. There's gonna be emergency vehicles. There's gonna be police. I mean, that thing is sitting squarely on the corner of one of the most trafficked intersections on the planet. Well, maybe. Well, in the United States, let's just put it that way. Are they gonna let you stand in the street like New Year's Eve? No, do not count on that. So, Bror Fredrik, where are we gonna be able to see the actual implosion, and how do we go about doing that? Well, let's head over to the studio and we'll talk about it.
Hey, Bror Fredrik, stop keeping us in suspense. We want to know where we could see the Tropicana Implosion.
Well, I'm gonna have to keep you in suspense just a little bit longer, but it's not that big of a suspense. I sort of already alluded to it. First, I want to tell you what my impressions of the Tropicana being imploded is. Dare I say, 0 Fs? Did you expect me to say that? Well, some of you probably did if you're regular viewers. Now, this isn't based on anything recent. It's sort of based on the past. I cannot think of one standout experience I ever had at the Tropicana. I mean, I've been there well over 100 times. I've stayed there once, I think. I've done photo shoots there. I've done a lot of stuff there. I think I've seen a show or two. It just never did anything for me. Not the property itself, because it was nice and, whatever. But it was more of to me, it was more of a staff thing. The staff there was never the friendliest. Some people might disagree. My interactions have been different. So again, this is just my opinion, me being me. It just was what it was. And on a gaming level, I don't think I've ever won there. It's one of the few casinos that I don't think I won a dime from. No memorable anything ever took place there. Even when they used to have these carousels that said 99.999% payback guaranteed and whatever. They would suck money like a Hoover vacuum. I've just never, it's been one of my, what I call a dark cloud property. We all have them, admit it. Just a property where if you go in there, it's just a dark cloud hanging over your head. Nothing goes right. You're not hitting any jackpots. You hit 3 coins on the buffalo. You don't make anything. Just like that type of property. That's how I feel about the Tropicana. Now, fast forward to my YouTube days, which started during the shutdown. They were unfriendly to me. I've seen them let other people in there, but unfriendly to me, maybe because I actually have opinions on everything that goes on in town. I cannot be bought and I cannot be controlled. I'm going to tell my opinion despite, all obstacles. That's just me. I have no filter. So I'm going to tell you, what is what. And again, my opinion. And I've never levied anything, truly negative about the Tropicana, other than the fact that I just never felt that their employees were all that friendly or all that welcoming. But again, that's my experience. In fact, the night that they closed, the last night on this planet for the Tropicana, I went in there to do a live stream because It's the closing night of one of the most famous properties in Las Vegas, even though it lost its luster years ago. They haven't given two shits about that property for years. I mean, it was just getting dilapidated, but I digress. So I'm there closing night. I'm sitting not on the casino floor, in a restaurant facing the casino floor with the camera facing me, saying, here I am. I'm just doing an intro. Within 2 minutes, I timed it out at about 78 seconds. I was approached and surrounded, some of you will remember this, by a security detail saying, we can't allow you to live stream in here. And I didn't point the camera at them, but I left it rolling. You can go back and see that video. And they were just like, if we let you do it, then everyone's going to do it. I was like, why? And that was their excuse. Well, it's coming down from management. What are you, frickin' nuts? Management be damned. But bear in mind, all the employees got a pretty frickin' hefty stipend. They all got $2K a year for every year they worked. So they didn't want to jeopardize that. So if upper management says no live streaming tonight. Now, regular patrons who are walking around, like this and laughing with a beer in one hand, I saw them go through. I'm not complaining about that. However, I had my small little gimbal about this big, with the phone on it, and I'm just chatting. And no, if we let you do it, then everyone's going to do it. I'm like, you're freaking closing. In 4 hours, this place will be no more. You worried about a throng of Whoa. What? The actual F ever. But that's my experience post. But my overall experience about the Tropicana, whatever. I could care less. I have no memories there. I didn't make any memories there. And I didn't make any money there. So forget about them. They've had a good time. I can't even remember making like 2 passes in a row at the craps table there. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. I just wanted to. How to get that off my chest. So where can you actually watch the implosion? From what I understand, if you didn't rent the room, I'm going to say it, probably nowhere. Probably nowhere. Now, you can call me crazy, you can do whatever you want to do, go ahead and do. But I have it on pretty good authority that they are not letting people close to that. You're not going to be able to drive. They're shutting down the streets to traffic. They're shutting down, as I said, all the properties. You think MGM Grand is going to let you stand in their valet while that thing goes boom? No. Do you think Excalibur is going to let you stand in their parking lot that faces it while it goes boom? Probably not. And I've spoken to a lot of security, and they said, yes, we're prepared to contain the people inside. Can you stand on the bridge that connects from the Excalibur over to the Tropicana? No. They're afraid. They're literally afraid. From what I understand, allegedly, whatever. That thing, if you ever walked across it, it's got a couple of cracks in it anyway. It's a freaking implosion. Massive fireworks. Tons of steel are going to go and collapse onto the ground. They're afraid of the vibration and all the rest of that. So no. How about the one that goes over from MGM? No. How about the one that just crosses over the strip from MGM to New York, New York? No. Bror Fredrik. But you told us we were going to see. I'm telling you what you won't be able to see. Now, how far back they do containment, I would say Mandalay Bay and Luxor is in the realm of possibly, getting a good view. In certain circumstances, some of the top floors on parking garages, you might get a view. What I'm saying, the crux of this whole thing is do not, under any circumstances, be disappointed if you're not allowed to get up close and personal for this implosion. Now, there are some back streets you can go behind the Tropicana, but trust me, there'll be a huge police presence. This is a controlled explosion. It's a demolition. It's not a spectator sport, although it's freaking awesome and I want to spectate. I will be spectating. Now, how can you see it? Now, this is my recommendation to you. I happen to have one here. You're going to be at a distance. At best, you're going to be hundreds of feet away. You might be closer, like I said, for the drone show and the fireworks, but if you're a pedestrian, you're walking from wherever you're staying down there, expect two things. One, you're not going to get up close and personal. That's just not happening. Two, you're going to be doing it either with a camera that you brought or your cell phone camera. Now, you're going to have hundreds of people standing in front of you or tens of people standing in front of you. You're going to need a selfie stick to get above everyone's heads. Yes. The other thing that you might want to do, maybe I'll even drop a link, but then everyone will say, hey, Bror Fredrik, chill. This is a favor to you. If I make 2 cents, so be it. Now, you could say, okay, I can zoom in with my phone. It's going to look like shit. It's going to look like total shit. Maybe you care, maybe you don't. Because it's at night, number one, and it's going to be with digital zoom. Anything past 3 or 10x is going to be digital zoom, which means pixelation. So if you're far enough back, you're going to have to zoom the F out of it. So what you do is you go on Amazon and they sell little telephoto lenses that clip on. Now try them in advance. They clip on. That way you do not have to use your digital zoom, and it will introduce more light. I was a photographer into the camera on the cell phone, thus giving you the best imagery, whether you're taking images or video. Like I said, maybe I'll drop a link, maybe I won't. They're cheap, they're like $10, whatever. The other thing that you can do is there are going to be watch parties in town. I don't have all the details. This is evolving. We're still a month out, so I will do more videos as I have more information. There will be watch parties all over town. There'll be people streaming. It'll be on the news. There'll be different events that are based on it. So you'll be able to go to a bar. You'll be able to go to a club. You'll be able to go to the various properties and experience a watch party. Very similar to what they do on New Year's Eve. Extraordinarily similar to what they do on F1. You didn't have to have the seats like, I sat on the track, but they had F1 watch parties. The ones that I've seen so far, you can Google it. Just Google Tropicana Implosion watch parties, and it'll give you the developing list of who's going to host these things, whether they're going to do remotes or what. I don't know exactly the details, but I've seen them as cheap as like $25. $25 to get in, and then you drink, whatever, woo. But bear in mind, the fireworks and the drone show is the night before. So there's probably going to be, at the bare minimum, a 2 to 3 hour spread between the drone show and the fireworks and the actual implosion. And remember, that 2:30 time frame is still tentative. They can make it 2 in the morning. They can make it 4 in the morning. They're going to do it at night for sure. But it's all based on safety. This isn't, a Disney event. This has to be safe. If someone runs in, if they find people too close, the crowd control takes longer than they anticipate, it's going to be postponed. So it's tentatively. So they're going to get all their ducks in the row before they go, boom. You know what I'm saying? So don't expect... To summarize, don't expect to get up close and personal. Get yourself a little telephoto lens to clip to your iPhone or your Android, just in case you're a mile away. And lucky you if you got a room that faces it, and we all want to see your videos, so go ahead and post them. And I might have a big surprise for that night. I'll let you know. Again, we're a month out. As we get closer, I'll keep you abreast, I like that word, of all the information coming out, and I'll tell you what my super secret plans are. Probably the night before, though. I don't want to blow up my spot. But I digress. Well, I think I already did. But anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Appreciate you clicking on links, doing all this stuff. And you want to see me raw and freaking uncensored, live streaming, go check out heybrorfredrik.com, which is my personal streaming site. That's where everything is raw and uncensored. Me and everyone else, including you, could be too, for a couple of cents a day. And don't forget all those other links. Don't forget, let me reach over here. Don't forget our awesome sponsors. Well, I wouldn't say sponsor, but channel partner Olight. Going to be bopping out a video with them because they are actually opening a store here in Las Vegas. So stay tuned for that whole activity. I'm going to do a little like hosting and stuff over there. It's going to be fun. And I hope you had fun. And on that note, I almost knocked my coffee over. That wouldn't have been a good note. But on that note, Bror Fredrik out.